y'all, Logan here at the Backwoods Institute. In this video I'm going to show you, it's kind of a homemade taxidermy video, how you can utilize the trophy parts of a wild turkey. Now we're going to be making a beard and spur mount. Do it yourself at home, real easy, very few items, and it looks pretty good at the end of it. So I'm going to show you how I do it, the steps I take, and the equipment I'm going to use, and well, let's get started. Alright, so we got a dried beard. What you do is you cut it off the chest and then put some borax on it and trim some excess skin, but you want to keep all the follicles in there. So that's dry. This is a turkey I harvested last year. Alright, so what we're going to do first, we're going to cut right here on both sides of the spur, leaving the leg bone intact. And then we're going to scrape off the kind of this scaly skin right here and then take something to punch out the bone marrow. It's going to look something like this. This is a spur from a bird I harvested before. I got it mounted on the wall in there, one of my do-at-home mounts. But the dog ate the other one, so I only got one, so I was wondering what to do with it. But it's going to end up looking like that, hollow in the middle, and we're going to use that to our advantage. So with that, you can take a hacksaw or something, cut the spur off. Alright, so we got both spurs here. I'm going to take my knife, set it on edge, and just try to scrape off what I can. You can get it a little bit, and then it's kind of like peeling a crawdad. Peel that rest of that stuff off there. Alright, now we got it down to the bone. Then you can see kind of this fibrous stuff right here. We're going to take some sandpaper and try to get rid of that. Alright, now that we got them pretty well cleaned up, you can leave them just how they are like now, or you can have the option to seal them with some type of sealer. This one right here is sealed. You know, I put one light coat over it. I'm going to do it to the other one, but like I said, it's optional. Alright, while we're waiting for that to dry, I'm going to take my shotgun shell, because this is what I'm going to put my beard in. It's going to look something like this. Got my beard in here, and then I got a little eyelet right here that I can run a string through, and I can hang it on wherever I want to. So this is what we want to accomplish. To do that, we got to knock out the primer. If you got a reload machine, it's real easy, knock it out. But if you don't, take a piece of scrap wood, drill a hole in it, take a nail, line it up on the primer from the inside the shot shell, stick the primer over the hole, take your hammer, give it a couple good taps. You can kind of see it's already sticking out. Then you can line it up with the hole a lot easier now that it's actually extended. And then once you get it out far enough, I'm going to do one more. Alright, then I just take the claw of the hammer and pop it out. Just like that. Now you got a hole all the way through. Alright, now we're going to take our beard. As you can see, the skin's kind of, it's too thick to fit in that shotgun shell. So what I want to do is I just want to trim it down. Get rid of that. And now it'll fit up in there. If you want to, any of that extra dried stuff right here, I'm going to break it off. Or cut it off with my knife, clean it up a little bit, make it look nice. Alright, so it's going to fit up into the shotgun shell like that. But as you can see, there's a big gap. We're going to use epoxy to set this, and I don't want that epoxy to be running around in there. So I'm going to wrap duct tape on here till it fits snugly in here. Alright, so this fits up in here with a little persuasion. We wanted a good, nice, snug fit. So the next step, we'll pull this back out. We're going to put our little eyelet in the end. You can get these from Home Depot or any hardware store. Something small, it's not too noticeable. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a filler in here. Take a piece of cotton ball, not the whole one probably, just a little piece. Stick it down in there. What that does is it gives me something for my epoxy to sit in. So this is 2-part epoxy, you gotta mix it up. And I'm gonna put some inside the shell to hold that cotton ball in place. And I'm gonna fill this primer cavity up. Wipe off the excess and take my eyelet Set that down. I'm using a smaller nail. You can use a piece of wire or anything. Slide that onto that nail and then stick the threads into the epoxy and kind of get it situated wherever you want. That nail is going to keep it up high enough that, let me zoom in. It's going to keep it up high enough that I can run my string through, attach my spurs, and it's going to keep it there until it, until it sets, and then I'll pull it out. Alright, it's starting to set up pretty good. I took the nail out and it's still holding. I'm going to give it a little longer and then we'll get back to it. This thing's set up good now, so what I'm going to do is add more cotton ball down the front. Something that my epoxy, it's basically just a filler so the epoxy doesn't have to fill up the whole shotgun shell. Alright, with this I'm just going to coat my duct tape and get it in the shotgun shell. I just went in just past the duct tape, so the majority of the beard is still sticking out. Wipe away some excess, and we'll let that thing cure up. Alright, now we're going to talk about some options. We're going to run a string through the eyelet, and we're going to put a spur on each side of it. What I'm using is braided decoy line. You can use anything you want. You can use 550 cord, you can use man-made artificial sinew, and kind of, if you want to, braid it, or a leather shoelace or anything. What you can also do is put beads, or you can decorate this however you want. And this right here is a Kyle necklace I made, and with these wooden beads, all I did was I cut down a wooden dowel and drilled through, and I made my own beads because I couldn't find any at Walmart or craft store or anything. So I made my own out of, I just sanded the edges after I drilled my hole through it and kind of gave them a rounded off look, if you can see. It's kind of rough, but you can do the same thing here, or whatever beads you want to. If you don't want beads, that's fine. I'm not going to put any on mine. So all we're going to do is run it through that eyelet. And then decide which side you want to be the front, and then decide how you want your spurs to hang. Alright, and this is however you want it. I got my spurs angled down. You can do it however. But then decide how big of a loop you want. Alright, and I want it to be somewhat like that. So I'm just going to take both ends and tie a knot. Alright, so now you got a beard and spur mount that don't take up very much space. Over time, if you kept the tail fan of every turkey you harvest, you might eventually have a full wall and take up a lot of space. So maybe just keep a few of them and then start using these beard and spur mounts. And you can hang a bunch of them right next to each other, maybe make a plaque or something that you can start hanging these off of. And you can still keep the trophy aspect of the bird, and you're not taking up a lot of space. So like I said, you can decorate these however you want to, but this is how I do it. Hope y'all liked the video. Catch you in a bit.